Hello, my name is Christian Elliott, and this is my MBA 500 final project, a look at corporate governance and agency theory. I'd like to start out by introducing my topic for my final project, as well as the theory that it relates to in the text. First, I will be speaking about agency theory and its effect on corporate structure. Next, I want to spend some time speaking about my personal experiences with the fiduciary rule set out by the Department of Labor and how this policy will help improve the conflict of interest from financial advisors. Lastly, I want to reference our text and its ideas behind agency theory, governance issues, and how we can improve them. In a corporate structured firm, the shareholders or investors vote on a board of directors to represent the highest level of authority within the organization. This board of directors sets out the overall direction of the firm and the objectives of the company with the promise that they will have the investors' best interests in mind and create shareholder value. The board then appoints the senior level management, which will carry out these objectives through day-to-day operations and help create the shareholder value for the organization. Agency theory is the idea that managers are not acting in the best interest of the firm. They may have an ulterior motive that influences them to act in a certain way, which benefits them but does not follow the objectives set out by the company. This conflict of interest was starting to be seen within the financial sector at private banks. The objective of a private bank is to manage the wealth of high-worth clients to create financial growth and stability through investment and diversification. The conflict of interest comes from the financial advisors, who essentially act like the managers of the firm. Financial advisors make a commission on the transaction of the client's portfolios. This incentivizes financial advisors to make more trades and changes to their clients' portfolios than is necessary so that they can increase their own paycheck. Most people believe that it is the advisor's legal duty to be looking out for their clients' best interests, but this is not always the case. Only 10% of money managers in the United States are RIAs, or Registered Investment Advisors, which are held to the fiduciary standard, which states an advisor is required to put the client's interest first and is adhered to by registered investment advisors and enforced by the Securities and Exchange Commission. 90% of wealth managers are brokers, which means they are held to a lesser standard known as the suitability standard. The suitability standard, which requires that a broker make recommendations that are suitable based on a client's personal situation, but the standard does not require the advice to be in the client's best interests. The Department of Labor caught wind of what was going on and are in the process of making changes to the pay structure of the advisors. The change is known as the fiduciary rule and is meant to rid the conflict of interest from advising. It will change the pay structure of brokers from commission-based to fee-based, requiring clients only to pay a quarterly or annual fee for the advice of a broker instead of per transaction that is made. For now, the changes the Department of Labor are making will only affect retirement accounts such as 401ks, IRAs, and Roth IRAs. The rule also requires that the statement of fees be more transparent, giving you a clear breakdown of where your fees are going and what you are paying for in exchange for advice. My experience with this topic stems from my time spent at Janney Montgomery Scott as a finance intern, shadowing the Vice President of Investments and one of the top financial advisors within the firm. One of my projects was to notify the clients of the changes with the Department of Labor and how the implementation of the new rule would affect their account. Although my supervisor was in fiduciary status, the firm as a whole was taking action to switching their pay structure to the fee-based system. Switching to fee-based was twofold. It meant that the clients who make many changes to their portfolio in the duration of a year would pay less because they would not need to pay per transaction. But it also meant that the clients who rarely made adjustments or don't seek as much advice from their financial advisor often would potentially pay more. So my role was to help our clients fully understand how the rule change would affect their accounts going forward and what to expect from their fees in the future. The idea of conflict of interest was nothing new for Henry Fail and Chester Bernard. They were strong believers that the separation between ownership and management resulted in opportunistic behavior from employees. They urged employees to contribute their efforts to the enterprise rather than for personal gain. Williamson defined agency theory as the self-interest seeking with guile. He believed that even individuals who are less opportunistic also have their price. Robert Gordon believed that the separation of ownership and management could result in top managers becoming a self-perpetuating oligarchy. The strategies stated in this book to improve agency theory are performance evaluations, and closely monitored behavior. The goal being to tie the individual motives and match them with those of the firm. This is exactly what the Department of Labor has done with the fiduciary rule. Through close investigation of the behavior of advisors, they have implemented a plan that will eliminate the difference in objectives between ownership and management and ensure the advisors will work in the best interest of their clients. Agency theory and conflict between ownership and management has been an issue since the first practices of management and are still prevalent in today's world. As human beings, we're always looking out for our own self-interest to begin with and to exploit situations for our own personal gain. And as long as this is our primary focus, we will always struggle with agency theory and the separation between ownership and management.